Hey guys, so it's me back. Thomas Emmanuel Orms O'Brien. You will notice we have a addition to our last name. The reason why I did that is because I've been praying, meditating, searching, and seeking about this for a very, very long time, and um, I decided, um, based on what I believe to be I want to be completely genuine and honest without using sort of buzz, topical words that I've used to describe myself in new ways or in old ways. But yeah, so I'll just say this. I decided that I'm going to take my stepfather's last name. His name is Richard. Um, I will be uploading this video probably closer around to Father's Day. Um, if you've been around stream before, or if you know me personally, depending, even last video I did speak about my biological father, Tom. It's whom I'm named after. He was a Thomas. I'm Thomas as well. Um, and the topic of dad, father, has always been a very sensitive one to me, and I'm sure that resonates with a lot of people worldwide. Whether you had a great relationship with your biological father or have one currently, or you didn't or don't, um, it's a very significant role in a person's life. And obviously, I believe that to be for many different reasons. Um, but at the moment, I feel led to share this video because I just want to say that my stepfather, Richard, I call him Dad. That was like crazy huge move that I did years ago. Um, Not too long ago, though. I want to say maybe only the last 2, 3 years. My memory serves me correct. Um, I started to call him Dad because I had come to the realization, not that it was a matter of belief, um, it was a matter of exchanging a lie in my head for a truth. And the truth of the fact of the matter is yes, we have biological ties to our parents. I did my utmost to honor my biological father, Tom, um, for his entire life. And I do my best now to honor him in his death. Um, Obviously, I probably have failed at that many times. Um, but in other ways, too, I want to give myself credit to success. Obviously, I um, believe my success to be for many different reasons. Even posting this video today, to be quite honest with you, I'm not entirely sure or certain if it's the right thing for me to do in the emotional state that I've been in today. But I find myself in a place where I am extremely, extremely inspired in the mornings, um, through the mid afternoon, probably till about like 1 or 2 o'clock. And then I um, get drowned in uncertainty. Um, and it may or may not resonate with some people, but that's what happens with me. At the moment, for the first time in my life, I am searching my identity. Like I said, that's going to be one of the main reasons as to why this content is happening. Because I think it is, again, as I stated in my previous sort of introduction slash crazy ramble um, video. Uh, One of the main questions I want to answer for myself and for others, if I can help. Obviously, I don't want to be prideful in the idea of knowing of whether or not I can be of help to someone. But regardless, I cannot prevent that, use that to prevent me from making an attempt to do these videos. Um, But yeah, so I find myself extremely inspired in the mornings and in the afternoons. And one of the things that I was inspired to do today was make this video because a few days ago or yesterday, I changed my channel name. My channel name at the moment is still Thomas Emmanuel Orms, which is who I am. And I don't. Uh, I'm I guess the operative word I could use is praying or meditating or seeking as to what a name for this channel could be. But yeah, I'm still searching as to what that channel name might be. If it is supposed to have another name besides my name, um, because I'm still searching out identity for myself. But regardless, I do believe that this is one of the avenues in which I am to reach out to the world and provide myself to whoever is out there as a service. And obviously, it's not completely selfless. That would be a bold-faced lie. I also have selfish motivations for doing this. I do not want to work a 9 to 5 office job for the remainder of my days. But I am making good money at my office job right now. It's not irreplaceable money. Money is obviously irreplaceable, and out of fear, I am money motivated, much like a lot of people. I'm trying to learn to change my worldview, and I'm doing a lot of reading in regards to that, and a lot of study. Um, But yeah, so I definitely was inspired today to make this video. And for the remainder of my day, things have been happening and emotions that I've been going through, situations that I've been faced with just today in the last several hours, um, really caused me to, I guess the operative word in this moment would be to doubt whether or not I should post this or upload it. But it was in lieu of Father's Day, and Father's Day coming up. Even in this very moment, I struggle whether or not I'm supposed to be posting this video. But I do want to be completely vulnerable and honest, because the truth is the only thing that sets you free. And truth telling is a way that I believe I'm meant to be used of service. I believe one aspect of my identity is a reject. I have been a reject for many years of my life. And so I don't view that as a negative. There's been so many different things today that would point to me not supposing or having to do or willing to do or just not doing this video. Just not doing this video like at all. And in my life, I would previously have taken it as, okay, well, I'm not meant to do it right now, so I'm not going to do it. But at the same time, right now, I do feel as though God wants me to do this. And I cannot hide that fact. I do believe that God wants me to do this video, and that all the resistance in which that I've received today to doing this video, and again, these are weird buzzwords, right? Quote unquote, like religious words. I am still trying to find ways to express my faith in God without being religious. I am new to it, because for the majority of my life, that's been my sort of lens on God. Even the last 10 years, as much as I've been trying to run away from religion, um, I still find myself um, in my own faith within those boxes and in the way I express it to other people in a religious form, which religion um, is diametrically opposed to a relationship with God. Religion is man's way of trying to define how God would relate with us, um, which is the original lie. I mean, if you believe the Bible account to be true, Satan just told Eve in that moment when he did his best to deceive her to eat of that fruit, to doubt what God had to say, that God wanted to withhold, that what God told her was not true. Um, and so that is the original lie in which he has perpetuated throughout humanity, no matter how long you feel like humanity has been on Earth, your belief system on how Earth got to be here. Regardless, the lie is that there is separation, that there's a scarcity mindset, some people call it. Um, and this scarcity mindset, this separation worldview, which I'm parroting right now, really influential person in my life at the moment. His name is Jamie Winship. I'm currently going through his book called Living Fearlessly alongside my study of the Bible and other historical texts. I'm deep into the study of the origins of religion and trying to find connection as to where different Abrahamic texts um, collide, connect, collude, coincide, even corrupt. Um, ha ha ha! I was able to use a bunch of different c words in a row. It makes me cool. um, but yeah, so part of my identity right now that I'm learning about, and I don't believe I'll. Hopefully, by the end of my life, I have a firm grasp of that and who I am. And obviously, I only believe that to be sourced from a relationship with God. Um, but at the moment, yeah, I felt really inspired to do this video. And then as the day went on, I felt completely inadequate, fearful, lazy. So I'm laying in bed right now and I'm watching one of my favorite films, Braveheart. Um, it speaks to me a lot for many different reasons. Um, and I do have a love for film cinematography. That's kind of who I am as well. I love art, discovery, those types of things. But yeah, so Braveheart, very much quintessential film for me. Um, and a lot of it is about fighting injustice, fighting tyranny, fighting, exchanging the lie, which is that England was the best under this king who was perhaps Edward Longshanks, perhaps one of the most tyrannical and evil kings to ever sit on the throne of England. Um, but I guess that fight is not translated for me in a way that is like picking up my sword and charging the enemy, which as a man, that's what we all want to do. We all dream of it, right? The last knight, the last samurai, the last Jedi, arm in arm, side by side with your brethren in exemplary skill of martial prowess, charging the field, destroying the enemy, winning. But for me, that fight today was very like subtle and weird one. I can't even really describe it. All I knew was I made the decision. I was like, okay, well, if everything is pointing to me not to do this video today, and everything earlier today was pointing me to do the video, I can't necessarily be sure as to which one is correct, but I can go by the patterns of the decisions of my life that I made previously, and previously I would have made the decision to not make the video. So today I'm deciding to make the video, and it is about the new name of the channel. So I changed the name of the channel from Thomas Emmanuel Orms to Thomas Emmanuel Orms O'Brien, because I decided and I was felt led into taking my stepfather's last name, because he is my dad. And the definition of dad for me, obviously biologically, I honor my father, Tom. Um, he and I had a very strained relationship for a bunch of different reasons. Pretty much, if you get down to the root of it, is that he lived in certain ways of his life in fear, and that fear metastasized into decisions that he made, and decisions that he made adversely affect those around him that loved him. Me being his only son, I don't want to say I'm the only person, or I received that negativity in the greatest way, because I'm sure that's not true. I know other people that were very close to my father who loved him dearly, but due to his fear, ended up lashing out or hurting them in some way, shape, or form. So I cannot be selfish in that. But really, truly, it's like all human beings, right? We all hurt each other out of fear. Um, but anyway, so um, part of that fear tactic that he used was manipulation. And he had been manipulating me since I was 8 years old. That is when my parents got divorced. And it was not easy. He used my love for him in many ways to arm himself against my mother. My mother, amazing woman, God bless her, she has become, um, you know, a very close friend, a confidant. My wife is my best friend, I wouldn't say. And then I have my male best friend, which is Kyle, whom I'm doing the walk with, which you guys might see the first episode of that go up first before this video, who knows. Um, Sorry, can't help but smile. Regardless, though, my father used manipulation to arm himself with me against my mother for many years. That put a tremendous strain on our relationship. I knew it to be wrong, but due to my fear of rejection and my desire to please him, my desire for love from him, my fear of inadequacy, of not being good enough, I went above and beyond to harm my mother on his behalf, whether it was from betrayals or, uh, and I say betrayals because, like, I was an 8-year-old child up until I was 20, living in that sort of bottle of just like absolute insanity. So I don't know if I would categorize that as a betrayal now, I guess, viewing as an adult. Um, because when you're a child, you're easily malleable, you're easily manipulated. But then as I got older, I knew certain things to be wrong. But it was really hard to break that spiritual hold, that psychological hold, that emotional hold, that mental hold that my biological father had over me, in the negative sense. Um, and I don't want to speak ill of the dead, so I struggle sometimes, whether or not I talk about those things that he did, uh, I guess I would say to me or with me, um, versus focusing on his virtues and the good things about him. But then I feel guilty about not delivering the truth of my childhood, and I think this channel, I have to be able to cover all aspects. Like, it has to be fully me and fully who I am. And so fully me and fully who I am is someone who had those life experiences, and pain does mold, trauma does mold. Obviously the goal would be to work on those scars no longer bleeding, and for resolution, redemption, healing, wholeness, all of those things, right? So that's my main focus. I don't want to focus on the past, but I believe to give this channel justice and to do as God would have me do, which I believe is give voice to perhaps people who are too scared to speak about these things on their own, to give them the courage and the hope that life does get better no matter what situation you're in. And probably compared to some people's situations, mine was very mild. Obviously, we all think that our own pain is the greatest pain. But I'm sure there's people who out there. Oh, and I know it's not even. I'm sure. I know there's people out there who had it much worse than I had. Um, so anyway, regardless, like because of that relationship with my dad, Tom, um, it was very hard for me to understand what a father was. And when I was 11 years old, my mom started dating my dad, currently Richard. So I guess for purposes of the video, I will say my father to Tom and my dad, currently to Richard. And just so that we have some like separation and there's no confusion there. So at 11 years old, my mom, um, started dating my dad, Richard. And obviously, classic divorced child, full rejection of him. Like, absolute, just full rejection of him. Um, being the only child between my parents, we had that longing for reconciliation that maybe my parents would get back together. But at the same time, though, that was not being honest with myself. And I even know that now as an adult, that when I was 8 years old, as much as I was rejecting my dad, Richard, for my father, Tom, I knew my parents were not going to get back together. Like, I knew my father, Tom, and my mother were not going to get back together. Their relationship was so hate filled. I mean, the opposite of love is indifference, not hate. Hate is when your love is wounded or broken. And they hated each other because it was just deep pain. And so, unfortunately, being the only child, that deep pain was, shared by me because um, all my father did was tell me how horrible my mother was, that she was the worst person on planet Earth, XYZ. My mother did her best. I mean, gosh, that woman did her best to keep a lid on it. She would not discuss my father with me, um, but my father would discuss everything about the divorce with my mother with me while I was 8, 9, 10 years old. My father would tell me things like, "Oh, your mother's taking me to court today. If I don't see you again, I just want you to know it's not because I don't want to be there, it's because I lost." And things like that, which automatically, when you're a child, the concept of your father losing, I mean, you don't want that to happen because in this separation worldview that most of us are living in, loss is death. And obviously, you're afraid to die, you're afraid to lose because if he loses, then I've lost as a byproduct because I don't even know what that means because I'm 9 years old. Um, so absolute like wackadoo shit like that, just absolutely crazy things like that he would say, um, which any psychological psychiatric experts out there, that for the 8 9 year old psyche, I mean even a 16-year old would have trouble processing that statement. It would be trouble in a different way, but it is just completely mind altering and breaking and heartbreaking and soul wrenching and all of the above, all of those things. Um, yeah, and so that was my father operating in fear because in that fear he had to defend himself, and so in that defense of himself, he even, defeated his own child. Um, so a father figure, a dad, was like so hard for me. Um, and even in my quest to understand the divine, to understand spirituality, um, if you believe in the same God that I do, he is described as a father and a loving one. And, it's just like, oh my God, like that was such a hard concept for me to grasp. So, I mean, even that has been a journey, and I'm still not 100% Because if I was 100%, I'd be perfect, right? But um, um, so yeah, full rejection of my dad, Richard, because of that and for many reasons. And obviously, I was scared for myself, because I didn't want to go through another abusive relationship with a man calling himself my father. Now, Richard, God bless him a billion times over, was so gracious. He never forced any titles on me, he never forced a relationship with me. He is like literally, I mean, the in terms of what I would consider a man, he's probably the best, if not one of the best men that I have ever known. I mean, his patience, his love, his courage, his steadfastness, his presence in the midst of adversity, on full attack from me because I made this guy's life hell. I lied about him. I stole money from him. Um, I I would embarrass him purposefully with my mother, in conversation. Um, yeah, I mean, just I would pit my mother against him over a lie. Um, I just put this man through hell, and there was zero reason. He had his reasons, but on paper, you know, tangible scarcity mindset, right? Um, there was zero reason why he should have been as loving to me as he was. Um, Obviously, for him, he would say no. There was a billion reasons, he always spoke life into me. Always I love you. Never criticized, always encouraged, always an I love you, always an I'm proud of you. Even when I was a delinquent, it was I'm proud of you for XYZ, and he would point out the good things that I had been doing and the success that I had been having, even though it was marginal and minimal. You know, he would praise an A in a class, even though I skipped class for 2 weeks following that and got in trouble at school. And of course, he would have necessary adult conversations with me, but he was just present. He would not leave. He did not give up. He did not. Um, he refused to see me for anything less than his son. Um, and so he is my dad in every sense of the word. I mean, he didn't just teach me things about life, because a teacher can teach you things about life. So, I mean, being a dad, part of it is teaching, right? Um, but a dad is someone ever present strength. And that strength was not in being macho, that strength was in being loving. And I didn't even know what that word meant until a few years ago. Um, but yeah, so I am going to honor him as my dad. I'm still honoring my biological father, Tom. I'm not removing his last name from who I am, which is Orms, but I will be adding my dad's last name, which is O'Brien. Um, Not even because he's owed or he's earned it, which I could say those two things as a reason, but just because that is what the truth is, without any labeling what on it whatsoever. That man is my dad. Um, and there's no other way of explaining it. So, as I probably am going to be uploading this video closer to Father's Day, I will be paying and, well, going to our local court system in Florida. How it works is you have to file paperwork, pay a fee, get seen by a judge, and if the judge deems you like not a crazy person for changing your last name, which there are, I'm sure, insane scenarios out there, and the judge gives the approval, they will give you a paperwork, and then you take that court approved, judge approved document to all the agencies, Social Security Department, DMV, all of those things, to get my last name changed. And so, yeah, that's just, I wanted to document that. And yeah, I was divinely inspired to do this video today for you guys and for myself. And I will say Happy Father's Day. And for those out there who have a horrible relationship with their biological father or a horrible relationship with a stepfather, my heart breaks for you, because I know what that's like. It is such a long road, and I mean, I don't even know if I have the authority to make this statement, but I want to say that redemption is possible. I don't know what that would look like. For me, it was my biological father and I had a few barely scratching the surface talks, though necessary talks, about our relationship before his death. Before he died, my biological father did do his best to right some wrongs, and he did show up for me at a time that I didn't need him, which was something that historically had not happened in my life. And so I was able to have a form of closure. Obviously, I don't even know what that means, like, in its fullness. I can't say with honesty that it's fully closed, because that part of him, I mean, he still lives on in me, right? In my memory, in my heart. He elicits emotions, some good, some bad. I think life is on a continuum. I don't think life ends. We say life ends, but obviously, if you're a person who believes in spiritual things, it's a continuum. Death is only an aspect of life, and there's something beyond physical death. So I do believe him to be living on. He did have faith, and in his own way, he had his own relationship with God. I know that to be true. So I believe he lives. I believe he lives on in him. And so, yeah, I mean, the word closure for me is even weird because, something shutting, it's like, well, it never gets opened again. So I don't know. I would say there was some form of reconciliation. That's probably the better way to describe it. There was a reconciliation that occurred before his death, and it was good enough. It was good enough. I mean, after years upon years of suffering for the both of us, I mean, because I made my own choices later on as a young adult, as an adult. And I've probably said crazy, hurtful things to him as well, believing that he deserved it. So yeah, it was enough to help me move forward in life, attending his funeral and meeting my family and learning things about him that I didn't know before, painted a new picture of who he was. And I would hope and wish that no one has to get to that point to where, oh, well, he's dead, and now you learn new things about your father that change your perspective of him, because then it entered me into a whole new part of grieving, which was wishing I had known the version of him that other people had known and things like that. But regardless, we end on life. we end on goodness, and goodness is that um, I've had two dads in my life. My biological father, Tom, I love him. May he rest in peace. Um, God bless him forever. And my dad that is living, Richard. Um, and that is my existence, and I will be taking on his last name, and by extension, my wife will also be taking on his last name, because her father passed about 5 years ago, and he was a good man as well. But yeah, so to anyone out there, good father relationship, bad father relationship, I hope redemption for you. Um, I pray, and I use that word again, not trying to be religious, but prayer, like desire from my heart and from my soul that you would have reconciliation or redemption. And if it is not possible with a person while they are living, that you would find a healing in their death, and ultimately that a relationship with um, I would say the Father of the universe is possible, and there's a measure of healing in that. So I love you guys. You will be seeing me again soon, I'm sure. Look out for episode 1 of the Walk podcast with my best friend, Kyle Vitavelli, as we kind of do an introduction on all these things. We have some more projects coming along as well. I probably am going to be working on some things with my wife as we figure out how we're going to be doing that together. Yeah, I just may we all live fearlessly in the truth of everything, everyone, everywhere, all at once. Love you guys. Peace. God bless.